When they are betrayed, some women don't just get mad.
I never made any promises.
You're a liar.
They get even.
Come on, or you won't get the 50 grand.
A deluded mom takes a custody battle to the extreme.
She thought if he was out of the picture, she would be able to raise the children.
A scorned lover cuts out the competition.
You're dead.
As time went by, Geraldine became more and more angry.
And a femme fatale is desperate to feed her desires.
Nobody else mattered other than her and what she wanted.
These deadly women won't rest until they settle their scores, as they wreak lovers' revenge. When a woman's maternal instinct is distorted,
He was hurting the children in her mind.
I want you out of my house.
Why?
Because you're a witch.
She was paranoid and delusional.
That's for you, Sonia.
she will do anything to protect her flesh and blood.
I warned you.
It's just horrific.
(1995), Raleigh, North Carolina. A hub of number crunching becomes a place of romance.
They met when they both worked at the Department of Revenue.
36-year-old divorcee Camilla Boyd Norton is taking her first tentative steps towards new love with shy co-worker 32-year-old Terry Brown.
Terry seemed to be a very calm, professional, well-adjusted young man.
They got along well. They had a lot in common.
Camilla, ready for a refill?
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Camilla's looking for happiness after a troubled past.
Ladies first.
She had been diagnosed with a number of psychiatric disorders.
I want you out of my house.
Why?
Because you're a witch.
Mom.
She's having an affair with President Bush. Get out!
She was paranoid and delusional.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I know what you're
For years, Camilla is plagued by paranoid visions.
Camilla truly believed these things. She thought they were genuinely true. She was very delusional.
That's a great drop.
By 1996, Camilla finally has her fragile mind under control.
It's good wine,
Her new beau, Terry, knows about her rocky past, but to him, it's ancient history.
That was delicious. You're a really good cook.
huh? How about you, let me cook for you the rest of your life?
What?
He wants to take care of Camilla for the rest of their lives.
You marry me?
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
They wanted to start a family, and it ended up that they had 2 children.
Oh God, no, I can't believe it.
She was happy. He thought they were happy.
Hey, guys. Who's winning?
For the next 5 years, Camilla and Terry live the American dream.
How are you?
Busy.
Okay, well, I'll go get dinner going then.
Okay, thanks, honey.
Then, trouble strikes.
Camilla lost her job at the Department of Revenue.
Camilla not only loses her job, she loses her confidence, and her old demons return.
She would start having paranoid thoughts and delusions.
You were with her yesterday, weren't you?
With who?
Don't you play dumb with me. You know who I'm talking about.
Camilla accused Terry of having an extramarital affair, which he denied.
Camilla, the millionth time, I'm not having an affair, okay?
Terry always tried to do the best by Camilla. He knew she had mental health issues, but he tried to stick by her.
I can tell when you're lying.
I'm not lying.
Look at me. I can tell when you're lying to me.
I'm not lying.
You are lying.
I'm not lying!
What are you gonna do with the knife then, huh?
Crazy.
For Terry, Camilla's wild delusions are too much to bear.
He just could not tolerate it anymore, so he moved out, and they were divorced in 2001.
Terry fights for custody of the kids and loses.
When the couple separated, initially Camilla had the custody of the children.
But Camilla's not behaving like a fit parent.
I am trying to concentrate.
Her fragile mind is splintering. She starts to neglect her duties as a mom.
She was living in squalor and not caring for her kids.
In July 2002, a visit to the doctor brings things to a head.
Does that hurt?
That pediatrician noted that the children were not thriving, that they were malnourished, and they were not properly clothed.
That's all for today.
Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. These are for you and your sister.
The doctor reported these observations. The Department of Social Services conducted an investigation and ended up putting the children in foster care.
I want to report a case of child neglect.
That sparks another custody battle. A battle Camilla's determined to win at any cost.
That's when Camilla made an accusation that he had abused their children. She said that it was sexual abuse.
But her plan backfires when authorities learn it's just another of Camilla's delusions.
He was a great father, devoted to his children.
All those accusations were unfounded.
In 2003, Terry wins sole custody.
There are no grounds for appeal, Camilla.
But he's a child molester.
Terry has sole custody.
No.
They decided that the only person who could appropriately care for these children was Terry.
For Camilla, the fight is far from over. In her damaged mind, the children are in danger.
I'm getting another lawyer.
And she will do anything to protect them.
Camilla was desperate, still under this delusion that Terry was still abusing the children.
And Camilla couldn't take it.
In 2003, Raleigh, North Carolina, a delusional Camilla Brown is spying on her ex-husband, Terry. After losing custody of her kids, 39-year-old Camilla has been ordered to stay well away from her family.
The judge ordered her to stay 2,000 feet away from the children and her husband, and not to contact them in any way.
She does the exact opposite, moving into the house behind Terry's.
Camilla was doing everything exactly wrong to keep from getting the custody of the children, but she thought she was doing everything right.
In her fractured mind, she's convinced her husband is abusing their children.
People suffering from delusions, such as Camilla was, don't pay attention to protective orders or the law. They believe what they believe, and it's the most important thing in their life.
A desperate Camilla pleads for even a moment
Terry, they're my life.
with her kids.
I have nothing without them.
There's a court order, Camilla.
Terry, please. Please let me see my children.
Don't cry.
And kind-hearted Terry finally cracks.
Because Terry had a soft spot in his heart, he allowed Camilla to visit the children.
But Terry wants to ensure his kids are safe.
Terry offered Pullen Park as a public place where they could meet, and it was decided that pizza would be provided for the children during the visitation.
Who wants pizza? Me!
March 24th, 2006. Camilla gets her wish.
Baby, how are you? Oh, it's so good to see you. Okay, guys, here you go. That's for you. That's for you, sweetie, now.
The family reunion seems to be going smoothly. Until
I warned you.
No!
Camilla pulled out a gun and shot him.
She intended to kill him, I believe, because he was hurting the children in her mind.
If you can imagine the horror of a 6- and 7-year-old child sitting there eating pizza, and their mother has just shot their father in the chest.
She thought if he was out of the picture, she would be able to raise the children. This shows how crazy she really was.
Terry makes his own 911 call.
My wife just shot me.
And reveals the identity of his attacker. Camilla is arrested at the scene. 5 hours later, Terry loses his fight for life.
Unfortunately, his injury was too severe for them to be able to save his life.
Camilla Brown is charged with murder.
Initially, Camilla refused to be questioned and refused to respond and would not cooperate with her lawyers. She would have nothing to say. That's when the mental health evaluations began to determine whether she would be competent to proceed to trial.
After the murder, Camilla had to have psychiatric treatment before she could cooperate with her attorneys and go to trial.
Camilla's lawyers plan a plea of insanity. But in 2009, her own pen poisons her plea. She writes a letter to the judge.
She made her most concise statement ever.
In the letter, she pretty much says, I knew what I was doing. It was wrong. I had a purpose for which I was doing it. I thought I was going to teach him a lesson.
Camilla admits she planned to shoot Terry, but only to wound him.
To shoot someone and they die, but you did not intend to kill them, that's squarely second-degree murder.
Camilla can no longer hide behind her demons.
The story of Camilla Brown is very sad. Mental illness destroyed her marriage, and then she destroyed her husband.
In February 2013, Camilla Brown pleads guilty to second-degree murder. She is sentenced to a minimum of 17 years in prison.
Despite the fact that Camilla had a long-standing history of mental illness, she still had enough lucid moments to set up a meeting and to pull the trigger and kill Terry. That's why she's in prison instead of a mental facility.
If she ever does become cured of her mental illness and can look at everything realistically, she's going to realize with horror what she has done.
I can't do this. It's not going anywhere.
A promise made.
That he would leave his wife.
I'm sick and tired of this back and forth.
A promise broken
Louis wanted the best of both worlds.
can sow the seeds of vengeance.
Know who I am? She had a malignant heart, and there's no pill for that.
1985, in Chicago, Illinois. Factory workers Geraldine Smith and Louia McDonald can't keep their hands off each other.
Louia McDonald was employed at the bottling plant along with Geraldine Smith, and that's how they became involved in a relationship.
Theirs is a perfect romance, except for one thing.
I can't do this anymore. We're married.
You know how I feel about you, baby.
Louia McDonald was married and had a family.
Louia promises he'll make that obstacle disappear.
Louia McDonald had intimated to her that he wanted to leave his wife and be with her.
Geraldine was hearing what so many women have heard before. My wife doesn't understand me. I'm unhappy.
But Louia wants his cake and to eat it too. The dedicated family man always returns to his nest.
Hey, how my girls doing?
Hey, Dad.
Louia and Valerie McDonald had been married for approximately 16 to 17 years.
There was a problem at the factory.
Really? Another one?
For 2 years, Louia leads a double life, deceiving his 35-year-old wife, Valerie, and their daughters.
Valerie McDonald appeared to have a perfect life. She had 2 children. She went to church twice a week. Everything was good.
Everyone said they did have a happy marriage, a happy family life.
But Geraldine Smith doesn't like to share. She knows exactly how to turn her part-time lover into a full-time husband.
To Louia.
It wasn't too long before Geraldine became pregnant, and that changed everything.
Oh, can I hear wedding bells?
She reveals her plan to close friend Marva Golden.
But he's gonna leave his wife. He loves me.
This pregnancy will finally draw Louia away from his wife. But her boyfriend has other ideas.
Louis wanted the best of both worlds. He wanted his girlfriend and he wanted his wife.
Let's say prayer. Thank you, God, for this food made in our...
Louia's wife, Valerie, soon learns about the affair. But she's willing to give their marriage another chance.
Valerie was a forgiving Christian woman, and she would forgive Louia and stay with him.
I need to go.
Where are you going?
Geraldine's plan is falling apart, and so is her relationship with Louia.
She kept insisting that Louia McDonald keep his promise to her that he would leave his wife.
Promise? I never made any promises.
Promised you would leave her.
I never made any promises.
Even a baby on the way can't lure her lover from his family.
Geraldine didn't take that news too well. She was about to have a child to take care of.
Louis wished to stay with his wife and his 2 daughters, as well as maintain a relationship with Geraldine Smith on the side.
That kind of lifestyle is fraught with danger.
But Geraldine won't give up without a fight.
As time went by, Geraldine became more and more angry.
Know who I am?
I can guess.
I'm having his child. He's my man now. He don't want you no more.
You're crazy.
Who you calling crazy?
Geraldine Smith slapped Valerie McDonald, demanding that her husband leave her.
The police were called. And while the police were there, they searched the car, found a .25 caliber automatic.
The gun wasn't used in the assault. So Geraldine is only charged with a minor offense.
That should have been a very clear warning that Valerie's life was in danger.
October 1986, Chicago, Illinois. 38-year-old Geraldine Smith should be celebrating her new bundle of joy.
She gave birth to a baby boy, which she named Louis McDonald Jr.
I think she wanted the world to know whose child this was. And she didn't care who knew.
I want to speak to Louis.
But the new mom is obsessed by what she doesn't have. Her married lover, Louis McDonald.
Geraldine had wanted him to leave his wife, but he had decided not to.
Once the child was born, Louis McDonald stopped coming by so often.
Abandoned with a new baby, Geraldine's love turns to hate.
Dad!
He broke his word. But Geraldine wasn't upset with him.
I want my dad!
She focused all her jealousy, anger, and rage on an innocent party. She actually told a friend that she hoped Valerie would die.
Dad!
That Valerie had to die.
Geraldine turns to her close friend, Marva Golden.
Geraldine asked Marva to find someone to kill Valerie.
In her mind, this would solve her problems, and Louis McDonald would be hers.
Marva knows the kind of people who can make Valerie pay.
Eddie Williams had been recently released from the Illinois Department of Corrections. He did have an extensive criminal background.
So you want to make some money? Or you gotta just kill a housewife?
29-year-old Eddie Williams is more than happy to help, and he comes cheap.
How you doing?
Geraldine Smith had said she'd pay $500 for the shooting.
That's what Valerie's life was worth to them. $500.
On the night of June 23rd, 1987, Geraldine sets up her alibi, spending the evening with family. Then sends her helpers out to do the dirty work.
This was not a crime of passion. This was a cold-blooded, premeditated, well-thought-out murder. Geraldine had plenty of time, plenty of chances to say, you know, I don't think I want to do this. But she didn't.
Louis McDonald picks up his wife and daughters after church.
Hey, how was it?
It was so much fun.
Yeah, we learned a new song.
The pastor asked about you.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. You tell me I'll be there next week?
Yeah, right. Praise God. He's a savior.
Nearby, the hired assassins lie in wait.
Marva Golden waited in the car with the engine running, while Eddie Williams stood on the corner, waiting for the McDonald family to return home.
And that's where Louis McDonald's two worlds collide.
That's when Eddie went right up to Valerie and put a bullet in her head.
The two young daughters were highly traumatized.
They had just seen their mother shot.
Louis chases the gunman. When he sees the getaway car, he realizes who's behind this shocking attack. Louis gives up his lover to the cops.
Did you recognize the vehicle, sir? Yeah. I think it was Geraldine Smith's car.
5 days later, 37-year-old mother of two, Valerie McDonald, dies in the hospital.
It was a gunshot wound to the head. She went down immediately. I don't believe she ever actually regained consciousness.
Did you take care of it? Yeah, stop pain.
Geraldine thinks she has won.
This was the whole master plan of Geraldine, to seize the husband that she couldn't have from Valerie. And the easiest way out was to eliminate Valerie McDonald, which she did.
What Geraldine doesn't know is the cops are already on her trail.
This was such a poorly planned murder. The way it went down led police directly to Geraldine as a suspect.
Their prime suspect says she was at home with family all night.
She's so cute.
She even tries to explain the getaway car.
She stated that she didn't have any knowledge of the shooting, that a friend of hers had asked to borrow her car. She had given it to her, and she hadn't returned with the car.
The police don't believe her.
Geraldine Smith's vehicle was processed by the Chicago Police Mobile Crime Lab, and Eddie Williams' fingerprints were recovered.
Come on, tell us what you know.
Geraldine and her 2 helpers are charged with murder.
You killed her, didn't you?
Under questioning, Geraldine admits nothing.
Geraldine Smith is probably one of the most cold-blooded, calculating murder offenders that I've ever had to interview.
The hired killers are much easier to crack.
It was you that killed her.
No! Eddie shot her. I was just the driver.
It wasn't long before Marva and Eddie told the police who was behind the plan, that Geraldine was paying them to do the murder.
In 1989, Marva Golden pleads guilty to first-degree murder and is sentenced to 20 years. Eddie Williams also pleads guilty and is serving life.
You would think they would be the hardened ones, but they readily confessed their parts in the crime.
Geraldine Smith is found guilty of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder.
She had no qualms with paying $500 to have somebody killed in front of their children.
In 1991, she is sentenced to death, later commuted to life in prison.
The judge said she had a malignant heart, and there's no pill for that.
17 years later, in 2008, Geraldine Smith is released on parole. Louia McDonald tried to lead 2 lives. His enraged lover destroyed them both.
Geraldine Smith committed murder because she was jealous. And that's a story as old as time.
There's more than one way to get a man.
Michelle wanted to wield power over other people.
Her first.
But sometimes help is needed.
She was being Michelle, the sexual goddess.
When what you want is not yours.
Stay away from my husband.
She'd do anything to step on people who got in her way.
Come on, be a man. Do it.
In the late 1990s, around the clubbing scene of Adelaide, Australia, 25-year-old Michelle Burgess is earning quite the reputation.
Michelle's well known for her bedroom eyes. There are few men that she's laid eyes on who have not felt her bedroom eyes.
I think she knew what she was doing was not quite right, but she didn't care, and she clearly didn't care who knew.
Michelle can give anyone a good time, except perhaps her husband, 28-year-old Darren Burgess.
What's your excuse this time?
Michelle enjoyed living a fantasy life.
What's that?
Oh, I got pinched.
You think this is funny?
Whereby she's stepping out of being Michelle, the boring housewife and mum, and being Michelle, the sexual goddess.
Don't you laugh at me. Your kid's been up waiting for you. Has it been the footy team?
Oh, get over it. No, get over it.
I will only put up with so much.
Darren wasn't enough for her. She had a number of affairs when they were married.
Darren Burgess was an extremely loyal man, perhaps a little naive, a little too forgiving, but essentially a really good man at heart who really unfortunately married a dangerous sexual predator.
Everyone seems fair game to Michelle. Even her husband's boss, 38-year-old Kevin Matthews.
You can't wait, can you?
Kevin Matthews was a person who liked to be the life of the party. He was the big man around the town.
Kevin wasn't a particularly attractive man. She saw him as perhaps a little bit powerful, as of a higher station than what her husband was, and she coveted him.
Darren is accustomed to Michelle's wild ways. But Kevin's wife, Carolyn, is horrified by this woman's brazen moves.
Darren, cover up.
Come on, Darren, settle down.
You keep out of this. If you act like this, I'm going home.
Come on.
What are you all looking at? I'm going then. That's what you want?
Bye.
Each of them was married to other people, so of course this normally is activity that people hide. Not Kevin and Michelle. They were proud of it.
Michelle and Kevin start an affair. And Carolyn's shame deepens.
Hello? Stay away from my husband.
If Michelle feels any guilt, she doesn't show it.
She was very, very selfish. Life was all about Michelle Burgess, and nobody else mattered other than her and what she wanted.
By January 2001, Darren reaches the breaking point. His wife's affair with the boss is the final insult.
You think I'm an idiot? What's this? I'm out of here. It's over.
What?
Darren saw that his wife and his boss had been exchanging text messages and phone calls by the hundred. And that was the last straw for him. He finally decided to leave.
3 months later, Darren moves on, finding a girlfriend who treats him with respect.
The moment another woman came onto the scene, she turned very nasty.
Please come home. Please, I miss you so much.
Michelle doesn't want Darren, but she doesn't want anyone else to have him.
Look, Michelle, we've been through this. You've got to move on. She was just one of these people who is selfish, self-centered, and it's all about them and nobody else.
Yeah, move on.
Is she with you?
Even though his ex, Michelle, had been carrying on with pretty much any guy that walked by, she threatened Darren and the new girlfriend that if they continue seeing each other, they were dead.
You tell her to watch her back.
Michelle doesn't like playing second fiddle to anyone.
And you better watch yours.
And over on the affluent side of town, her lover, Kevin, is staying with his family.
Jeez, you did kids with all the soft drink on for me beer.
His wife, Carolyn, refuses to have their life torn apart by a brazen hussy.
She had 3 children, she had a husband, she had a happy life in the suburbs. She was not going to have this woman destroy it.
But what Michelle wants, Michelle gets.
Michelle Burgess was a selfish, self-centered greedy person who thought of nothing but herself. She had the ability to be able to frighten people, that's for sure.
2001, Adelaide, Australia. 27-year-old Michelle Burgess has two problems in her life: her ex-husband and her lover's wife. But she has a plan.
David Key had just been released from prison and was a drug addict and a small-time criminal and a man prone to violence.
She offers a hitman $25,000 to murder her lover's wife and another $25,000 to kill her ex-husband.
Michelle wanted to wield power over other people, and she did.
She even draws up contracts, so there are no mistakes.
Her first. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
Then him.
Too.
You do it?
Yeah.
Michelle plans a new life with her lover, Kevin Matthews. But that doesn't mean she'll stay faithful to him.
Michelle couldn't keep her hands off any man. Not only was she having what turned out to be a very dangerous liaison with Kevin, she also became sexually involved with the hitman.
On July 12, 2001, Michelle and her hitman drive to Kevin's house. When Kevin takes his children to the video store, they seize the moment.
Is your name Carolyn Matthews?
Yes.
Is this your picture?
Yes.
Is this your address?
Yes. Get in! What are you doing?
Caroline had no idea why her husband's lover and this strange, angry, violent man have suddenly come into her house.
Do it! Kill her. Do it! Do it! Can't be a man. You won't get paid. No, you don't have to do this. Please, come on!
Shut up!
She was not a violent woman. I don't think she actually knew how to defend herself. You can only imagine how terrifying that would have been.
Let's go! Come on!
Michelle creates a horror movie in suburban Adelaide. Tragically, the first to see it are the victims' children.
Mom! Daniel, go to your room. What? Go to your room now. Shane, call 000. Do it!
They arrive home less than an hour after the brutal attack.
My mum's been hurt really bad.
There was a lot of blood everywhere.
The family struggles to do what they can.
Is she responding?
No.
But nothing can save Carolyn.
She was stabbed 41 times. Carolyn Matthews had died a very hard and brutal death.
Kevin Matthews seems grief-stricken, but police are soon tipped off to his not-so-secret affair with Michelle Burgess.
You've been having an affair, Mr. Matthews?
No, I haven't, but I've been accused.
And when they check her phone records, they're stunned.
Michelle and Kevin contacted each other by phone 16 times the day of the murder.
She rang Kevin and told him that the job was done.
And that it was safe for him to return home with his boys.
Kevin was in on the murder.
Daniel, go to your room now, go!
And he let his children discover their mother's body.
It shows what a cowardly, craven dog of a man he really was.
It's almost beyond comprehension to think that a father would allow his young children to walk in and find their mother stabbed to death, but that's exactly what Kevin did.
Kevin also knew exactly how to fund this murder.
Carolyn had a $100,000 life insurance policy.
The money from that was going to go towards paying out the contract.
Meanwhile, Michelle's promiscuity leads police straight to her hitman. Under surveillance, she's seen cavorting with David Key. He's skipped parole, so police bring him in.
That day when they arrested Key, they found one of the murder contracts, a contract on Carolyn's life, in Key's wallet.
Michelle and Kevin were so intent on getting the job done, they were very careless.
Handwriting analysis shows Michelle wrote the contracts. She denies it all. But when David Key learns he's not the love of Michelle's life, he gives evidence against her.
He realised that he was just a simpleton that had been used by someone a bit smarter than him.
In 2003, David Key pleads guilty to murder and is sentenced to 30 years. Kevin Matthews is found guilty of murder and receives life without parole.
He wore this mask of decency of being an upright father and businessman and husband, but he was none of that.
Michelle Burgess also gets life for murder. Her twisted heart blighted so many lives.
3 boys don't have a mother. They have nothing but contempt for their father. Another family have lost their daughter. It's a damn crying shame.
Michelle's power over men was hard to resist, but everyone who fell for her would ultimately regret it.
Michelle liked to destroy everything in her path. Every life she could damage, she was up for it. Michelle is a deadly woman.
For these deadly women, revenge was a dish best served hot. Camilla Brown wanted to protect her kids. Instead, they lost both parents. Geraldine Smith couldn't bear to be the other woman. And Michelle Burgess showed her lover's wife who's the boss. It was the cruelest form of payback when they exacted lover's revenge.